Hello and welcome to the Art Den, where we meet all kinds of artists who create all kinds of art. My name is Dr. Milton Brown, and today I'm joined in the studio by Huddersfield-based artist Helen Robinson. Helen started painting in lockdown after being diagnosed with breast cancer, initially making cards and writing letters to friends. After encouragement from a friend, Helen started painting daily portraits of her favorite bird, the kingfisher. Her passion for painting only grew from that point, and now Helen creates and sells her stunning artwork inspired by Home Valley. From intricate flower patterns to watercolor landscapes, Helen creates postcards, prints, and even coloring books, perfect for all ages. She encourages people to look more closely at the natural world and truly value the place we live in. Helen's coloring books have been sent to people all over the world, and she has recently hosted her exhibition at the Huddersfield Media Centre. Beyond her artwork, Helen is also the co-founder of Fair and Funky, who deliver interactive and creative workshops to schools and community groups. By empowering people to take little steps to change the world, Fair and Funky are one of the go-to organisations for local and global sustainability education in Yorkshire. We are delighted to have Helen in the studio with us today to share more about herself, her work. Welcome, Helen.
Thank you, Milton.
And obviously, I know a bit of your backstory, but our audience won't know. But if you could just share with us, what inspired you to get involved in art?
It started in lockdown. I'd just been diagnosed with breast cancer the Christmas before, so I'd already started isolating and not going into schools with work and things to protect my immune system. That's right, because I was going through chemo. And then who was to know that we all had to then isolate ourselves? And I did say at the time, you didn't all have to. I was fine. So that's what happened. And then because I was immunosuppressed, I had to completely isolate. Mm-hmm. So my children moved out to live with their dad, and so I was left wondering what to do with myself and how to keep myself sane, really. Yeah. And I looked through the drawers at home and discovered a set of watercolours and a set of paper that must have been gifted to one of my children at some point, mm-hmm. and had maybe been used once or twice. And I decided that, well, I would use it. Yeah. So started painting, and I started painting. It was a beautiful spring, wasn't it? The spring of lockdown. So I would sit on my doorstep, look at the flowers, and I would draw the flowers that were on my doorstep, and then I would cut them out, make them into cards and send them to people. And because, they might have sent me cards anyway, who knows, but because other people were isolated and not at work, mm-hmm. they had time to send me things back. Yeah. And a friend sent me a kingfisher because they knew that I really liked kingfishers and that I couldn't get out to see my kingfisher. And another friend, and I said to another friend, oh, I wish I could draw kingfishers. And they were like, well, have you tried? I'm like, oh, no. But I will. So I did. And then I just started and ended up drawing a kingfisher a day. I have hundreds of kingfisher postcards. And then just started drawing more of what I could see from my doorstep. So I'm lucky where I live in the Home Valley. It's beautiful. Yeah. And
how would you describe your artistic style then?
I don't know how I would describe it.
How do other people describe it?
Other people say it's stylized. That's how, and I've never really sure whether they're saying that in a polite way or saying that in a complimentary way. Mm. But I think, and it's difficult because I use watercolours, and if I say to somebody, and somebody says, oh, what's your style? And I say, oh, I paint in watercolours, people imagine dreamy, blended Bob Ross style watercolour landscapes, and they're not like that. Yeah. So I'd start by drawing with a pen, and I just sketch out the outline of what I can see. And Home Valley fields are all marked with dry stone walls. That's right. So it's the pen lends itself, the view lends itself to the pen. And then I just cut, and then I colour them in. Yeah. Using the materials that I had to hand, which was watercolour. Yeah. So yeah, So I'm totally self-taught. I probably don't use watercolour as like you should use watercolour or how you would be taught to use watercolour, but I just use it in my way, and the painters taught me how to paint.
I can just imagine some artist somewhere who went and studied 5 years at university in art and then did a master's and perhaps even a doctorate, and then hearing your story.
I know.
Yeah, quite frustrated with it. But did you have any inclination at school that you were into art?
I've always liked art. I've always, I like looking at art, and I like going to galleries, and I like being inspired by other people and other people's interpretations. I like art that tells a story. But myself doing art, I've always made cards for people, for friends and family. But apart from that, I never really got involved. But I mean, it must have been there somewhere for me to have wanted to have the confidence to pick up that paintbrush and pen during lockdown. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So is there any particular painting that you've done that's inspired you and you feel really proud of?
I'm weirdly proud to have hundreds of postcards of Kingfishers. Like, I don't know who else has. And at some point I would quite like to do something with all of those Kingfishers. I really like the latest painting that I have that is of my favourite fields in the Home Valley. It's the one that's behind you, I think, now on the video.
Okay.
And I just, again, it sort of shows me how I've learned to work with the paint, mm-hmm. and I just think it shows my progress from how I started 4 years ago to where I am now. And the colouring books as well. I'm really proud. I love the colouring books, and they came out of me sharing works in progress on social media, and people saying, "Oh, I really like that before you've coloured it in. I'd like to colour that in." Oh, so I was like, "Oh, okay, there's something in this." Yes. So then just started doing different line drawings. Mm-hmm. And I know that a granddad sent the colouring book to his grandchildren in Australia, and before he sent it, he annotated every page. This is where I walk with my dog. This is the view that I can see from my house. And so then when it got to his family in Australia, his daughter then shared stories of her growing up in the Home Valley with her children, and it just connects those generations. And I found that really humbling. I really like, just from my drawing, all these memories and stories are shared.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. And you said you found it humbling. Well, how humbling was it to have your first exhibition here at the Huddersfield Media Centre? Yeah,
well, I nearly didn't do it. I nearly got too scared and was like, "No, I can't do this. It's too much. I can't." But again, my friend, the other half of Fair and Funky, she said, "No, you are doing this," and I am really proud that I've done it, and that it, for me as well, showing all my pictures together in one place, and to see the work that I've done, and the work that came out of my isolation, and it could potentially have been a horrible time, and lots of people say to me, "Oh, it must have been terrible." It wasn't. I really enjoyed the calm, the peace, the painting. It was actually a weirdly special time.
And I guess the Home Valley really lends itself to just
it would have been a different story if I'd been diagnosed with breast cancer in a flat in a city centre somewhere.
I'm glad you never called any neighbourhoods. Right?
Yeah. No. But just to be able to have that greenery on my doorstep and be able to access it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So your paintings and your drawings now, what other opportunities have come from that? Are you selling them? Can you buy them?
Yeah, so I never set out to sell them, but was encouraged to do so, and so set up a little Etsy shop. Mm-hmm. And then since then, there's a number of small independent shops around Huddersfield, so Handmade in Huddersfield sells my prints and colouring books, and there's a couple of shops in Home Firth that do. And I was invited to be part of a little art pop-up shop collective in Home Firth with some other artists from around the Home Valley. And that was Yeah, it's been quite a mind shift to consider myself to be an artist.
Yeah.
All of those people who were involved in the art pop-up shop, I really admire them as talented artists. I was like, oh, why do they want me to join them? But they pointed out to me that, Helen, you're a talented artist. That's why we want you. So it's, it's an interesting shift.
Yeah. And have you embraced that yet?
I go through waves of embracing it. Yeah. Sometimes I will be like, I am an artist, and other times like, oh, I'm an artist.
That's what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've looked at the paintings up in the media centre as well, and some of them are 154, 164 pounds. And yet I hear on the grapevine that they should be worth much more.
Well, apparently so, that's what people say. But I like the idea of, I would like art to be affordable. Mm-hmm. And I know that is perhaps not affordable for some people, but it's it's affordable for more people than £500 a painting is, let's say. And I like doing offering people prints and offering people cards as well, because then people, there's different price points for different pockets. Mm-hmm. But I like art, and I like having art on my wall, and I know what my budget is, so I like to kind of reflect that in my artwork.
And you stick to landscapes and kingfishers and birds and flowers and things like that, or are you branching out to portraits and things like that?
No, my paintings are inspired by the photos I take when I walk, and it's part of the process and my process. So I feel like I'm cheating if I paint something or draw something that I haven't seen.
Right.
Which is sort of self-defeating in some way, but then also it's my process, and that's how I like to be. But then saying that, I do welcome and do accept commissions, and people send me photographs of their favourite view or of their house. And I read a book recently by Anne Tyler, and she taught the character in that book was an artist who drew people's houses, and she called herself a house portrait artist. And I was like, I am taking that. So I am a house portrait artist as well. And so people send me photographs of their houses, and I interpret, it's in my style, my stylized style, and think, oh, why do people want me to draw the house? But they know what they're getting when I draw their house, and people say, oh, can you please put my dogs in the window? And I really like robins. Can there be a robin in the bush outside my front door? I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. So, yeah, and that I find it. It's a real honour and a privilege when somebody asks you to draw something that's special to them. Like, I can draw things that are special to me, but when somebody else asks you to, it's a real honour. It's really humbling.
How do artists support each other? Are you part of a club, or are you very much sole trader in the field of being an artist?
I'm not part of a club. I know that there are groups out there. I struggle with time, to be honest, and I think having that time to be still during lockdown, I like to hold on to that, so I try not to be too busy. But there's a big supportive group on social media, on Instagram and on Facebook, and people, fellow artists share each other's work, and it's not competitive at all. It's sharing and celebrating each other, and knowing that there's room for all of us, like with lots of different talents and lots of different styles, and people aren't competitive. People are just genuinely boosting each other up. It is really lovely.
Do you critique each other's work? And I mean, have you ever seen another artist's work, or vice versa, where they think, you could have done that a little bit better there?
Oh, I don't know.
No.
But actually saying that, my son critiques my work. Yeah, he does. Yeah. But then he does it he's very constructive in a way. Yeah. And he'll say things like, I like the way you've done the clouds in that picture, which means there's something in that picture he doesn't like. Okay. So you have to work out what it is.
Does he ever tell you?
He would if said, oh well, if I found the right bit, he would. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
your primary passion, you told me earlier on, was fair and funky. Can you share with us a bit about what's fair and funky?
Yeah, I got Fair and Funky is it's a community interest company that I set up with my friend Sophie, and it's all about empowering people to take little steps to change the world. We're big believers in we all have an impact on our planet. People think that they don't, but we do. Everything we choose to wear, choose to eat, where we choose to shop, how we choose to travel, all of these things impact the planet in some way. And our workshops are all about getting people to think about those impacts and think about the ways in which we can reduce our impact. And so in terms of carbon footprint and sustainability, and we do use a lot of creative arts within our workshops as well, and we make things out of rubbish with young people and with grown-ups. We're doing a workshop with Give a Few Words charity this month.
Is that right across West Yorkshire then? So you're always
wherever.
on the move then?
Yeah. We work all over. We even cross borders and go to Manchester.
So what next? What next for you then, Helen?
I would like to do something with all the Kingfishers and do a Kingfisher exhibition. I always had this dream of doing the exhibition along the river home where the Kingfisher lives, but whether that will actually happen or not, because although we could guarantee that beautiful weather that spring, we haven't been able to guarantee that beautiful weather this spring, have we? So I don't think an outdoor exhibition works, but I would like to do a bigger exhibition. And I'm in the middle of creating a Colne Valley colouring book. I've done 2 Home Valley colouring books, a Huddersfield one and a Wakefield one. So now I'm working on a Colne Valley one. And it gets me out, it gets me looking at different views and thinking about just, seeing the world in a different way.
And how's the health now? Are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Excellent.
I'm good.
I think you're an inspiration, Helen, and I want to say a big thank you for taking time out in your busy schedule to come in and share your journey with us. So thanks you very much.
Thank you very much.
And I'll just say to our listeners and watchers, Helen's story is an inspiration for all of us, especially those who want to get into the world of art and crafts. And we wish her all the very best with her future endeavours. And to our audience, thanks for joining on this episode of The Art Den. Be sure to subscribe to KLTV on YouTube and visit our social media channels to get our latest updates. First, bye for now.